Stephan Sterns was arrested and charged with the murder of Madeline Soto. She was 13 years old. And now he's come out and said he pleads no contest to the charges. The time in court was about an hour and a half, but I've squished it down to just a few minutes to the important parts so we can get a better understanding of what's going on from a body language and behavior perspective. Let's take a look. All right, here he is coming into the courtroom. Doesn't look too stressed, doesn't look very worried. Not a lot going on. Takes a seat, and that's about it for excitement on that one. A lot of times when somebody comes into court like this, they look a little bit nervous, and they're looking around the room, searching for people they know, somebody they can connect with, somebody on their side. We don't see any of that at all in here. Again, this is fairly normal. Comes in, sits down. They tell what's going on, so everybody in the court knows, so the record shows what's happening, and that he's there. And again, he's not looking around very much, and he doesn't look very worried. Theoretically, this is a fairly stressful situation. But again, we're not seeing much stress at all. Not much going on here either. He's just saying he can't see the signature very well.
The signature is next to my finger. Can you tell me if that is your signature?
It's hard to tell from here. Yes, it is.
What your signature and a set of initials after each of the 26 paragraphs on each document, those initials being SS, tell me is that you have had an opportunity to read these documents. Do you have any difficulty reading and writing the English language?
I have no difficulty.
The only thing we see here is that swaying back and forth in the seat just a little bit. That's normal, but usually there's a lot more than that.
Yes, I'm going to ask the deputies to please provide this document to you, and I'm going to ask you to verify that this is your signature.
Yes, it is.
He's just verifying his signature. Some of these things are repetitive and boring, but this is what happens in court.
And you understand the 13 additional conditions of your plea agreement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You can tell he's not around microphones much because he leans way in every time he says something. You've probably seen that on TV when people do it. You don't need to do that, especially in this situation. If you'll watch the judge, we can't hear him very well because he's not very close to his mic. I could pass by this section, but I don't want to. I want you to see what it looks like when somebody's just sitting there. A lot of times people get the jiggly leg, or they'll start goofing around with their hands or drawing or something. A couple of minutes go by, and he just sits there. Here the judge is telling him that we all understand you're saying you don't want a trial, you just want me to sentence you. Again, there should be some stress here, but there isn't.
I understand.
Even though we don't have full view of his face, we can still see how fast he's blinking. Now, the normal human blinks about 15 to 20 times a minute. That's how many times this guy's blinking. There's no stress here. Now, we do hear a little change in the volume of his voice. Why would that be?
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. Do you understand that's the state of Florida law?
Yes.
I think the guy's getting bored. I don't think he's concerned with what's happening. I think he's starting to get bored, but he's getting a little bit louder. About 3 minutes pass here. The judge is talking to the attorneys. It's fairly boring, but still, I want you to see what he's doing. It's almost nothing. A lot of time passes here, so I sped this one up too. Watch this guy. He's breathing normally. He's not moving at all, not even a little bit. He's not even scratching anything. He's just sitting there. This lets us know he's not worried. We haven't seen one thing that shows us he's stressed. We heard him get a little bit louder. That would suggest his stress level's going up. But again, I just think it's because he's bored. And when you're bored like that, you'll do something. You'll rock back and forth. You'll jiggle your leg. You'll do something. Stretch your neck. He's not doing anything. This is odd behavior. It doesn't look odd when you're just sitting there looking at him because he's not doing anything. But the odd thing is, he's not doing anything.
Sterns, how do you plea to first-degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293.
No contest.
This is the most action we've seen so far. But don't worry, it gets a little bit more exciting because he's going to talk in a couple of minutes because they give him a chance to say what's on his mind about this murder and his involvement with it.
Counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
This one should be action-packed. The judge asks him what his plea is here, and he says guilty. That's it. We don't hear any emotion in his voice. We don't see any movement on him. We're not seeing anything.
Guilty.
Makes you wonder what's going on up here from a psychological perspective. Are we dealing with a psychopath?
Guilty.
This is the saddest part about these things. The friends and family get up and make what are called victim impact statements or testimony. And they tell how much the little child meant to them and how much they loved her. And they talk about family and how long they've known her and all that, and when she was born, those kind of things. But I want to show you this because I want you to watch this guy because he just sits there. He doesn't do anything. Now, his statement's going to come in a little while too. We'll check that out. And I think you'll find that really interesting.
Thank you, Your Honor, for for having me here today. I've known the family for over 15 years. I am best friends with Maddie's aunt and was roommates with Maddie and her mom during the time her life was ended.
He gets a little bit uncomfortable because he rubs his eyebrows and then kind of scratches the side of his face. I'm sure that would make anybody uncomfortable. It should make anybody uncomfortable. That's about as much action as we're going to see from this guy, though. You just saw it. That's it. It just peaked. He leaned down, straightened his eyebrow, and scratched the side of his face. This girl's having to call in on the phone to give her statement. This guy doesn't even move, not even a little bit.
The silence where her laughter used to be is deafening. The hole in my heart is bottomless, and the pain is indescribable.
For this one, I'm just going to let it roll by, too. I've sped it up a lot. There's people just standing there crying and talking about how they feel, and it's not even bothering him. He's not doing anything. It doesn't bother him, not even a little bit. He doesn't even look at the person.
You've had the opportunity to hear that anguish and fury from your actions. As to first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to the capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12, for each count, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
He's just been told by a judge he's going to prison for life without the possibility of parole. And what does he do? Nothing. This probably bothers you as much as it bothers me.
For the sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
There's this count of life in prison without the possibility of parole. What does he do? Nothing. We don't see him scooch around. We don't see him take a deep breath. We don't see his head move.
Lewd and lascivious molestation of Madeline Soto. You are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And there's another life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's just sitting there.
Let's place Mr. Sterns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
That was 1 minute and 14 seconds. It takes him 1 minute and 10 seconds to get to the part where he says, I apologize. But he doesn't say, I apologize for what I've done, for the harm I've caused, for the horrible things I've done. He says he apologizes, but he doesn't take responsibility for any of it.
And I apologize for all the pain.
So he's made his pleas of no contest and guilty. Now he's going to get up and leave. And when he does this, what I want you to do is pay attention to his face. See if you see any emotion in there whatsoever, even a little bit. See if you see a smile. See if you see his eyes squint. See if you see his eyebrows come together. See if you see any movement at all in the brow. See if you see anything happen on his face other than a blank expression.
Conclude our plea and sentencing hearing. We'll be in recess. Please coming up. We're sorry for the delay. Get started in about 5 minutes.
Not a problem, Judge. Thank you.
Did you see anything? I didn't either. And what does that tell us? Tells us he might be a psychopath, could possibly be one, because we don't see any emotions where we should. We didn't see him feeling sad for anybody or sorry for anybody. We didn't hear him say he took any kind of responsibility for what he did, except for saying he apologizes, but he doesn't apologize For what? He just says how he misses that girl and how sad it is she's gone. But he doesn't say it's his fault. He doesn't take any of the responsibility for himself. We could be dealing with a psychopath here. Time will tell. All right, if you have any questions about body language, just email me. bodylanguagequestions@gmail.com, and I'll get right on it.